Hey you guys, what's going on? Shaquan from SLFX Trading here, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the dollar and where it can possibly go. Is it about to gain strength or will we see further weakness? So looking at the dollar index, as you guys can see, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way here. I'm going to unlock it here on TradingView. So basically we need to look at what's going on the larger scale of the dollar. And when I talk about the larger scale, I basically mean the higher time frames. What is going on with the weekly time frame, and what is it potentially showing us? Here's my thing, you guys. When it comes to the monthly and the weekly time frame, you need those time frames to give you clues into what you need to potentially do for the week ahead. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So last week, price closed as a bullish rejection candle. As you guys can see, I have it written out right here. Now, just because we close as a bullish rejection candle, and some of you guys may call it, is it a morning or a shooting star? It's one of those, or a hammer, right? It looks like a hammer. Just because we close as a hammer does not mean price has to push up. That's one thing we have to get straight now. However, if price does push up and it can pass that candle, we can use this to our advantage come this week or next week. Now, when it comes to the higher time frames, understand you're trading bigger ranges. One candle is going to equal more ticks or more pips. So it's covering a bigger range of price. And that's something you have to pay attention to. So just because we observe this candle does not mean you're going to have an entry immediately. See, I'm a swing trader. And with swing trading or position trading, that basically means you're holding your trades overnight for days, weeks, or months ahead of time. So you're going to be holding these trades for quite some time, right? So with that being said, I'm under, the influence, or I have the understanding that I'm not going to have an entry right away, but it can set me up for a great long-term potential entry. So if price can stay above this candle, and there's something else that has to happen before I just jump into a trade, but if price can stay above this dollar index candle, if price can stay above this candle on the dollar index, it could show potential that the dollar is ready to regain some strength. And here's why I'm saying this. So we got to take a look at price action, okay? If you guys are looking here at these two numbers, I'm going to move this up quite a bit. All right, I'm going to make sure that it's, about where I need it to be. So if you look at these numbers here, the lowest that price has been, and I'm going to round it off, it's around the $92 area, okay? Recently, earlier this year, back in March, price capped off around 94.60s or 94.70s areas. So this is a $2 decline, and this is what we have to pay attention to. Now, this is a lower low on the dollar index. So if this is a true lower low, I am going to expect a retracement, meaning a pullback against this trend for right now. Because if this is a true lower low, I'm going to look for price to come up to make a lower high. So this could be the market getting ready to potentially recover. Now, we don't know if it's going to do it yet because, like I said earlier, there's something else that needs to happen. And when we drop in the time frames, you will see what I mean. So right now, though, what we don't want to do is go against the trend right now. Not right now, because we don't want to jump too far ahead. So with that being said, keep this in mind. Okay, so I'm going to look at this candle wick attached to it right here at 93. I'm going to run it off 93.50s, and price really needs to pass that number in order for me to want to think price is getting ready to go up on the dollar. Because if price goes up on the dollar, if the dollar shows some retracements, here's what can potentially happen. We could see Euro USD go down. We can see AUDUSD go down, pound USD go down, New Zealand dollar go down. And this is potential because remember, the dollar is still paired with other currencies, so we need to see how their economy is doing as well. However, if the dollar does keep going up, what we could also see is maybe USD CAD go up, USD Swiss go up, USD JPY go up. Now, this is all potential. We don't know yet, but we don't want to make a big assumption too quick. So we're going to observe it. And here's what I'm going to do. To observe it further, I'm going to drop down to the daily time frame. I'm going to bring my box back down so you guys can see what I have here too, and so you can read my thoughts as I'm speaking them through. Now, I talked about this last week. If you go back and watch my YouTube videos from last week, I kept talking about the dollar, keeping you guys updated with what was going on. And right here, I was saying how if price could stay below $93.90 area, then we're still in a clear for a downtrend. Okay, because this is momentum here on this daily time frame, and we don't trade against the momentum until price tells us to. So if price does not pass 93.90s, I'm going to say that we are still in a downtrend. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. However, if price passes 93.90s, this is when I'll say, okay, the dollar can potentially regain some strength and go back to the upside. And we can see the retracements, right? And if that's the case, I'm going to kind of expect price to recover back up into the $96 range. And it's going to be a range because, once again, when you get information from the weekly or the monthly time frames, you're looking at a bigger price range over a span of bigger candles. And that's one thing that, as traders, you have to be aware of. And the lower in time frame should go, your candles don't spread as far. That's why your pips are lower or your ticks are lower, okay? So with that being said, if price stays below 93.90s, the next area I'm expecting price to go back to is 92.12s and below. So this is the dollar. Now with that being said, I'm going to correlate this to Euro USD because Euro USD could have a really good potential play for us this week following AUDUSD. So I did a video on this as well, and I'll link the video down below. I did a video about AUDUSD and Euro USD having potential bullish movements as long as they follow the rules. And if they do follow the rules, such as the DAXI or the dollar index giving us the lead way, being the lead here, we're going to play follow with Euro USD mainly because Euro USD negatively correlates over 90% of the time with the dollar index. So let's go ahead and let's look at this. Euro USD looks opposite of the dollar. And as you all can see here, if we go to the weekly time frame, remember on the weekly time frame, the dollar index had a bullish rejection candle, where here we have a bearish rejection candle. Once again, the negative correlation is seen here. Okay, so anytime I say something, I always feel like sometimes, to take it a step further to show evidence of it, let's see it, right? So with that being said here, if price can stay below the range of the candle, and an extra step still has to happen, just like on the dollar index, I would be more inclined to sell. But because we've been having bullish momentum, I don't want to sell too quick, okay? I don't want to just say, yeah, let's hop into a sell. I don't want to do that. I still need evidence that that would happen. Now, with that being said here too, if price keeps that bullish momentum, we'll keep buying. So let's go to the dollar and let's go to the daily and let's look at it. So on the daily time frame, okay, price still needs to pass this range only if it's going to sell. But because my exchange rates are still pushing up, just like with the DAXI, they were pushing down. If price stays above $1.17, we have no choice but to continue to buy on this currency pair until this area here, this exchange rate, is violated, meaning it needs to be passed, okay? So we need to see price show evidence that it can fall below. Now, this is all due to technical analysis, and we do have quite a bit of fundamentals this week with the dollar index. And depending on what the fundamental data will be, would help determine what happens with the movement this week. And will I have a potential trade opportunity or will I not? I won't know until price pushes because I don't know what the data is going to be with the fundamentals, and I don't know the next candle that is going to print. So I don't want to say I know everything because I don't. But what I can do is be patient enough to wait until the move plays out so I can have an opportunity and avoid over trading. Okay, so this is how I'm looking at Euro USD. If price remains bullish from my red zone because it's based on the exchange rates for the daily time frame, then I'll be buying back up into the previous high here at 119.663. However, if price does show that it has more bearish momentum and it gives me a lower low, it comes back and gives me a lower high back into my zone, I will be selling down into the 113.5 range. So I'm neutral on this currency pair. And I get asked a lot, Shaquan, why do you stay neutral on some currency pairs? Because sometimes you have to learn to be adaptable. And even though I have a strong bias to the upside, if my strong bias is not panned out, I don't want to be in the market without a plan B. So it just gives me a plan B to say, hey, you don't have to reanalyze this because you already analyzed it ahead of time. So I stay neutral because it's kind of like war, you guys. You don't know what your enemy is going to do until they do it. But at least have a strategy or multiple strategies in case they try to throw you for a loop. At least you're already prepared. And that's what I'm doing here. So this is Euro USD. So let's go to AUD USD. AUD USD kind of looks the same, you guys, okay? So if I go to the weekly time frame, you guys can see here that we're actually closing quite differently. So you can say it's a rejection candle, or you can say that it's a doji. It's whatever it is to you, okay? But, you know, we've had all of this momentum picking up, but the volatility is kind of slowing down. And when we talk about volatility, it just basically means the momentum of movement. Okay, it's kind of slowing down here. We had a lot of, momentum push up, and now it's like, it's like wah, 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 trying to go up. So, if price can stay below this candle, the doji or rejection candle, however you see it, then I'll be more inclined to want to take a sell. Okay, now let's go to the daily. But once again, just like Euro USD, just like the dollar, something extra has to happen. And that extra step is price needs, if it's for a sale, needs to pass 0.71089. That's it. And if it does pass that, and if it gives me retracement back into my blue zone here, because it's based off the weekly information once again, I'll be more inclined to want to take a sell if it shows bearish evidence. However, from my red zone here, and as you can see, they're kind of, in the same areas. I color code everything, you guys, just to make it easier to see. If price gives more bullish momentum, because it's looking like today we may close as a doji, which is fine because, we still have to pass this number here. If price shows bullish evidence, I'll be more inclined to want to take a buy back up to the upside to 0.72758. Okay, so that's this here. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I am already in buys on Euro USD and AUD USD, right? And if price goes my way, that's great because I'm already in the trades. However, if they don't go my way, I have to hedge my positions, which means I now have to get in on the sell on both of those currency pairs, stop the bleeding, basically means stop myself from going further in a negative, put in a sell, and become positive on the sell side while still being negative or in drawdown on the buy side. But I only will be down what I went into or how much I was already down in with the spread. But if price keeps going down and I keep putting in sell positions as long as they make sense to my system, then what can happen is I'll get out of all trades positive without losing money. So that's what I'm looking to do on Euro USD and AUD USD. So this is just really an update to those two currency pairs involving the dollar index. It's really important to look at the dollar index every week, I feel, if you're going to do that, if you're a person who trades Euro USD or all the majors, because it really does give you a clue into what can happen next. So I really love to hear, how are you guys looking at Euro USD and AUD USD for the week? Are you looking to trade it? Are you not looking to trade it? And if you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up for a like. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, so when videos like this come out every single week, you guys can be updated and notified. But I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the video. You guys have a safe trading week.